Hello everyone, I'm Bernard Fong, your Extensive Wealth Educator. Today I'm going to share with you the 7 steps of exit planning. So what is exit planning, you may ask? So exit planning is a strategy that helps business owners or founders to gradually exit the business. So why is there a need to do exit planning if let's say our business is already profitable, is already growing and has just been newly incorporated, you may ask? Based on the people that I've met in their 50s all the way to their 70s and above, there's one common denominator, which is they are tired of their business, they are not as energetic as they were previously, and they want to spend more time with their family and their grandchildren and enjoy their golden retirement years. So then the question is, how do we transfer the shares of the business to another party? Do we transfer to our children? Do the children want it? Do we transfer to our shareholders? Will there be complications from it? Then do we sell it? If we sell it, at what price? Is it valuable? Or we do nothing, that it will go down all the way to zero when we close the business. So I'm going to share with you the 7 steps to manage this exit process. The first step in having a plan is to understand what is your objective and what are your aspirations. Let me give you a few examples. When we dispose the property, dispose the business, what do we plan to do after that? We plan to retire. Then how much do we need to retire? Do we want $50,000 a month for the next 20-30 years? Do we want to make sure that the business name do not get ruined after you transfer to another party? Are there any intangibles that we wish to protect? So what are the various objectives that you have? That has to be crystallized. So step 2 would be to quantify our personal assets and also our business assets. So why do we want to do that? Because in step 1, we have already identified our aspiration and also quantified them, be it for retirement, be it to hand down our businesses, for example. Now, once we have quantified our personal assets and business assets, we will know whether there is a gap or not in our expectation. If there is a gap, then we have to fill the gap, which means that we have to maximize the value of the business to fill the gap. We have to sell the business at a higher value. So step 3 is about us maximizing the value of our business to fill the gap, if any, or at least protect the value of the business. It means that we have to expand the business, we have to grow the business perhaps by having right people coming in, expanding overseas to have new markets. So that would be your forte. The area that is mostly neglected or sometimes overlooked is protecting whatever that we have, from creditors, from liabilities, and also other claims that will happen from time to time. Perhaps I'll give you one example. So someone that I've met, a business owner, runs a business, borrow money from the bank for working capital needs, and is a personal guarantee for that loan. Suddenly, one of the customers do not pay the business, and as a result, he has to pay the debt on his own account. So in that sense, you can see that his asset is not exactly ring-fenced, and there are ways to ring-fence it. So step 4 of the process is to consider to sell to our insider. And so who are our insiders? So first and foremost will be our shareholders. Do we have a shareholder agreement that is mutually agreed upon, a valuation matrix when we dispose our business? There are different valuation methods and different shareholders may want to use the different valuation method, and this has to be spelled out in the shareholder agreement. Secondly, does it have any rights of first refusal clause? Because this clause require shareholder to offer their share to existing shareholder first before it can be sold to third party. The second insider would be our own employees. Have we considered providing some form of a plan for them to acquire the shares gradually, either through stock options or buying the shares through installment over time, and give them a stake in the business? So this can't be done overnight. Typically, most employees may not have the resources to buy a company upfront within a short notice. So a runway is typically needed for them to make this thought process, this consideration. So that's the purpose of us sharing today, so that at least we can plan for this in advance. And this will bring us to step 5 if step 4 doesn't work. So step 5 of the process would be to sell the business to an outsider, which means we can sell it to our competitor, to our supplier, through merger acquisition. The question is always about the valuation. They will probably want to buy a business low, you want to sell your business high. That's where they look in their financial statement, the cash flow, your order books, and all the other different matrices. If let's say that is not satisfactory, another route could be to plan for IPO because we're selling to the public. So IPO will not happen overnight. It is actually a process, preparing of the documentation, making sure the prospectus are sent out, and then there will be listing requirements later on and professional comes in. So this will require time. It doesn't happen overnight, and you have to plan in advance, probably about 2 to 3 years in advance. Step 6 of the process is business continuity. So business continuity happens because step 4 and step 5, which is the sale of the business, takes time. And during this period of time, we got to make sure that the business continues to run smoothly, which means that we have to make sure all the documentation for our SOP are there. All important password documentation are also kept safely. Lists of all our important supplier and customer are being passed on to important people, such that even the founders, they will take a very long vacation, or even should death happen, the business can still continue. So step 7 of the exit planning is estate planning and personal planning. So congratulations, you have sold off your business, and you will probably be experiencing what we call the sudden wealth effect. The effect of having too much money but not so sure what to do about it. So that's where we talk about how do we go about in the estate planning, how we distribute to our beneficiary, how do we use the extra money for our retirement. In the next episode, we'll be sharing more about this phenomenon called the sudden wealth effect. So in summary, here are the 7 steps of exit planning. Number 1, we need to understand what is our objective, what are our aspirations, and try to quantify them. Step 2, we're going to see what is our personal asset, what is the value, what is our company asset, and then we compare to see what is there any gap with step 1 or not. Then step 3, if there is a gap, we may have to increase the value of the business in preparation for it, or at minimum, we have to protect the value of the business today. Then step 4 and step 5 is about selling the business either to insider or outsider. Then while we are selling, in step 6, we have to maintain the business to make sure it continues to run operations smoothly. And finally, at step 7, where you experience the sudden wealth effect, what to do with the excess funds. So we have come to the end of today's sharing. I'm Bernard Fong, your Extensive Wealth Educator. Please follow us and comment below if you have anything to share with our community. Look forward to seeing you soon.